Warning, if you're a girl or if you're looking for a dirt bike for your girlfriend, your wife, your daughter, just a friend, starting them on the wrong bike is one of the quickest ways to scare them away from riding dirt bikes. One of the biggest mistakes I see is starting out their girlfriend or their wife on like a YZ250F or like a Beta 300 cross trainer, just something tall, powerful, and really not beginner friendly. And even though it's possible to learn on and ride those bikes, it's going to be a lot more intimidating because if you have short legs, then it's going to be hard to touch the ground, but the extra power, the snappy power that they have is really hard to control when you're just trying to figure out how sensitive the throttle and the clutch are. And if you don't have proper body position, it's really easy to give it a little bit too much gas, whiskey throttle it, and wheelie, loop out, or even whiskey throttle right into a tree. And this is not going to leave a good first impression. So what is a good size for a girl to start out on? Well, the two most important things are your experience level. So if you're a beginner, we're going to focus on the beginner friendly bikes, and then your height. Since most girls are in the 5 foot to 5'6" height range, a 125, 140cc air-cooled trail bike generally works really well, and most brands have a big wheel or small wheel to choose from. And my favorites are the KLX 140. They have the small wheel, big wheel, and full-size wheels, depending on your height. And then the Honda CRF 125F. I like those because they're super reliable. You have to do very little maintenance outside of changing the oil, cleaning the air filter, and adding gas. They both have electric start. The KLX 140 is a tiny bit more power, but they're both pretty close to the same. The Honda 125, it has fuel injection starting in 2019, so if you don't like dealing with carbs, that's probably your better choice. The engine's a little bit smoother, so they're just both really good for learning on because you don't have to worry about taming the throttle and the clutch. So the small wheel versions are generally good if you're in the 4'8" to 5'2" height range. That's the 17 and 14-inch wheels. And then the big wheel or the large wheel is 19 and 16-inch wheels, and it's better if you're 5'2" to 5'6" height range, depending on your inseam length as well. And even if you are a little bit big, like I got my wife the KLX 140L, she's 5'5.5", and she's a little bit big for it, but for her first dirt bike, it works really well because it really gives her the confidence when she's starting and stopping. She can easily put a foot all the way down. But as you grow your experience, you won't need a bike that you can touch easily because you won't need to touch the ground. You'll have better balance. There's also the Yamaha TTR 125. Now they only sell the LE model, which is large wheel, electric start, but if you want to buy a cheaper one, you can get used models that have the small wheel and the kickstart only for it's probably the most affordable 125 trail bike you can buy, just because there's so many of them out there. Or if you're a girl that's an intermediate, or if you're taller than 5'6" and can handle a little bit heavier, a little bit more powerful bike, but still want something that's smooth tractable power, easy to ride, good for trail riding or just casual riding, the Honda CRF 250F or the Kawasaki KLX 230R are the best new models because they're both electric start, fuel injection, super reliable, very little maintenance, or if you want a carburetor, you can get the Yamaha TTR 230, or if you're on a budget, don't mind buying something that's discontinued, the Honda CRF 230, if you can find one, because they've kind of gone up in demand because they're such great bikes, or an older Honda XR 200 if you don't mind kickstarting. Now comparing the 125 to the 230 or 250 trail bikes, the 230 or 250 is definitely heavier. It's about 50 to 60 pounds, and while actually riding it, it's not that much different. The biggest difference is when you go and pick it up, it's going to be noticeably harder, heavier to get back up on two wheels if you fall over. And the power on the bigger 230 or 250 is definitely more, but it's still the same smooth power curve, so you're not going to get that snappy feeling that you would for a powerful enduro bike or motocross bike. And then the full-size wheels are really nice for trail riding. They just roll over obstacles better. It just handles better, especially if you're a taller rider. And then if you're a more experienced female that wants something with a little bit more power, a little bit more suspension performance, I really like the Beta 200 and 300. The 200RR is still a little bit shorter than a typical enduro bike, such as the KTM 250XC. The Beta 200 is about a 36-inch seat height, and it kind of bridges the gap between a 125 and 250 two-stroke for power. So it has smooth bottom end mid-range, but still has plenty of horsepower to be a race bike or keep up with faster bikes if you're out in the open. And then with the extra suspension travel, you're able to push the pace a lot better, go over bigger obstacles, and just ride faster without the suspension bottoming out on you or bouncing around like a pogo stick. And the Beta 300 Cross Trainer is also in that same range. It's actually supposed to be a little more beginner friendly, but that 300cc two-stroke engine still has a lot of power if you rev it out, which is why I don't recommend it if you're a first-time rider. But the slightly lower seat height, the soft suspension make it really nice for trail riding. And if you're going to buy a used bike, there's some things that you really want to look out for so that you can know whether it's a good deal, if the bike is going to be reliable so it doesn't blow up on you the first time you take it out for a ride after buying it. So you should check out this video on what to look for when buying a used dirt bike so you don't get screwed over. This is Kelly Fager from Motocross Hideout. Learn more, ride more, so that you can stay safe and have fun with your family and friends.